call the 2026 annual board meeting of Pittsburgh Water to order. I'll do a roll call. Ms. Strasburger?
Here.
Ms. Leber?
Here.
Mr. Domock? Ms. McCormick-Barron?
Here.
Mr. Bay?
Here.
Ms. Leach? Mr. Fischbach?
Here.
We have a quorum. We'll now turn to the election of officers. Do I have a motion?
I'll ask for a motion. I make a motion to approve the following as officers to serve for 1 year or until their successors are elected, and to authorize Pittsburgh Water to take any and all appropriate action, including filing the certification of election of officers with the Commonwealth, to approve such officers. The chairperson, BJ Lieber. Vice chairperson, Erica Strasburger. Secretary treasurer, Megan Leach. And assistant secretary treasurer, Michael Domock.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. The board has unanimously approved and the resolution is adopted. May I now have a motion to adjourn the 2026 annual meeting?
Motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. The 2026 meeting is adjourned. I congratulate the officers on their election and wish them well. And I now turn this over to Chair Leber.
Thank you very much. And I will officially gavel in my first meeting. I'm honored to do so. And I too want to thank the board and thank the officers who have stepped up to serve on the executive committee. It's appreciated, and we have a lot of work to do. So I just wanted to make a few comments with the agenda. I wanted to just remind all of us of some of the key reasons that we're here, the key projects that we're involved in. And I'm going to talk about 3 that are just highlights, but there's so much more that goes on to make sure that we do what we all come here to do. But it's significant that we produce and distribute safe, reliable, high quality drinking water for more than 500,000 people throughout our region. And that's an admirable goal. And it sounds like something that should be relatively easy. All of us expect to turn the spigot on and have clean water come out, but there's a lot that goes into it. And we have worked hard to maintain historically low lead levels. And I think, as everybody knows, that we are very aggressively pursuing our goal to have all lead out of our system by 2027, which is right around the corner. And then finally, we are in essence rebuilding our system. We are making ongoing investments to upgrade our infrastructure and modernize the distribution system so that we can count on secure and reliable water for decades to come. Everybody in this room and a lot of others know that the system that we are working with is old, in many cases the original system, and makes it very, very difficult to overcome some of the infrastructure challenges that we face. The water reliability plan is a $470 million investment. And I think that's really important for everybody in our city and, quite frankly, everybody in our region to know that we are making this kind of investment in our future. And so I want to, again, thank the board. I want to say that we are looking forward to working with Mayor O'Connor and the new administration. We are very, very happy with the support that we received from Governor Shapiro in terms of the work that we do, but also the dollars in loans and grants that have come to us from PennVest that have allowed us to make significant progress. I want to thank Will. Rest assured that Pittsburgh Water is in good hands with Will and the senior staff that he works with, the managers, and the folks right now who, as we have this meeting, are answering phones from our customers and out in the field looking for leaks and repairing roads. So with that, we will start the meeting, but I just thank you all for the opportunity. Do we have public comment speakers? Is there somebody in person? Would you like to come forward to the podium and state your name? Oh.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I was trying to get it to work.
Okay.
My name is Nicole Hafley. Is it okay for me to speak now?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So, good morning. My name is Nicole Hafley, and I'm speaking as a neighbor directly impacted by the work associated with independent enterprises. This is about neighborhood impact and oversight. When contractors operate in residential areas, especially near a floodplain, their work does not exist in a vacuum. It affects the people who live there every day. We have experienced excessive truck traffic on narrow streets, heavy equipment stays for extended periods of time, dust, noise, and ongoing activity tied to unresolved zoning and permit issues. That level of disruption changes the character and safety of a neighborhood. What concerns me the most is oversight. When PWSA hires a contractor, that contractor represents PWSA in our community. If there are stop work orders, zoning disputes, or compliance concerns tied to a site, PWSA should not wait for neighbors to raise alarms. Oversight should be proactive, not reactive. We are asking PWSA to actively monitor contractors working in residential and flood-prone areas. That means verifying permits are fully secured before work begins, ensuring materials and equipment are properly staged, responding quickly to complaints, and pausing work if compliance issues arise. Neighborhood stability should be part of performance standards for any contractor receiving public work. We are not opposed to infrastructure improvements. We are asking for responsible management and accountability. PWSA has the authority to require higher standards from its contractors, and we are asking you to use it to protect the neighborhoods your projects operate in.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker.
You're welcome.
Good morning. This is exciting to be in front of your new board. I congratulate you on your new offices, and I admire your public service. I'm also a public servant. I'm a teacher, and I know the status that you're put in and the pressure that is put on you. And we appreciate your service. We appreciate what you do for our water, and I'm not here to work against you. I'm hoping we can work together. My name is Brad Ankney. I'm a neighbor of Nicole's in Marshall Shadeland. And I'm here regarding contractor oversight and neighborhood impact that's connected to publicly funded infrastructure work. And I need to clarify here that when I'm talking about three different entities that are intimately connected. JetJack, Independent Enterprises, and now we're working with Collier Development. And I would first like to read this email response that we got from Rebecca Zito, dated September 5th, 2025. And this is regarding Independent Enterprises and his ongoing work on this lot. It says, thanks for your patience. I heard from our construction manager late yesterday and had some follow-up questions for him. Those were just answered this morning, and now I have what I need to respond to your inquiry. The contractor purchased those properties and acquired necessary permits to demolish the buildings. With the contractor owning the properties, they can manage those sites within the confines of the property zoning regulations and other city regulations. I was told that from someone from Independent Enterprises would reach out to you. Now, in a context, we were up at the magistrate's office Wednesday morning to watch the city try to enforce some building codes because there are no permits. And this was Wednesday. This was September that he told you he had those permits. I also recently reviewed an affidavit submitted by JetJack Incorporated in response to a right to know request that I made concerning the 2023 small diameter sewer rehab contract. In that affidavit, the company confirms it maintains significant bonding capacity, ongoing public contracts, and financial strength to pursue additional contracts. That establishes something important. That is not a small or struggling operation. That is a bonded public contractor entrusted with critical infrastructure work. With that level of responsibility should come some compliance. In our neighborhood, Marshall Shadeland, there have been ongoing concerns involving zoning compliance, floodplain implications, and enforcement actions connected to contractor operations. When a contractor performing public water sewer rehabilitation work is simultaneously associated with unresolved compliance issues, it raises serious oversight concerns. Public infrastructure contracts should not be evaluated on price alone. They should reflect demonstrated regulatory compliance and responsible operational conduct in our neighborhoods. My question to the board is straightforward. What safeguards does PWSA have in place to ensure that contractors with active violations, stop work orders, zoning issues are reviewed before awarding or continuing with public contracts? And does PWSA independently verify compliance with floodplain and municipal regulations and contractor operations impact in our neighborhoods? Public trust requires proactive oversight, not waiting for neighborhoods to raise concerns after these impacts occur. I urge the board to strengthen contractor compliance review procedures and ensure accountability matches the scale of the public investment. And I thank you for giving me some time to speak to you.
Thank you very much. It's important that we hear from our ratepayers. And so thank you for taking the time to come in. We take your comments very seriously. And thanks for your work as a teacher.
You will.
Okay, now we need approval of the meeting minutes for January 30th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. The CEO approvals have been confirmed, and now we have reports and updates. First up, Ed Barca from Finance Department.
Morning, Chair, members of the board. Happy Friday. Included in your board packet is the finance report as of January 31st, 2026. Within that report, you will see that receipts through the month of January totaled about $16.1 million in total. But I will note that that $16.1 million total is $1.8 million lower than the budget. And the reason for that is we've seen some mailing delays related to the weather events that we had in January. And there was also some vendor billing glitches that didn't impact anybody specifically, but we identified those issues and corrected them. And as a factor of those two events, the weather related one and our vendor, there were some delays in mailings that we're seeing catching up this month. And I anticipate we'll continue to see that over the next 2 to 3 months to get us back where we need to go. So good news there all around, but wanted to just give some context there on that. Year-end receipts are projected to be $281.2 million for the year. That's about $196,000 below the budget for the year. But again, it's just a factor of our projection that may change and tweak as time moves on. Departmental operating expenditures through January 31st, 2026 totaled about $8 million, represents 5% of the budget for the year. And capital expenditures through that same period totaled $3.8 million. $2.5 million in debt service costs have been paid through the end of January. That's about 2.4% of the budget for the year. And forecasted year-end debt service is projected to be $104.2 million. And that's about $80,000 lower than the adopted budget for the year. It's still early, but again, right on target is what we're projecting so far. This concludes our remarks for the finance report, but I do have a number of other exciting updates that I want to provide to the board. First is the PUC that earlier this month approved our rate case that was pending in front of them. The new rates that will go into effect on March 8th, 2026. The reality of that, though, is our ratepayers will probably see those charges on their April bills. But again, it's effective March 8th, which is really the cycle there on how the billing cycle works. A few highlights of the rate case settlement. is expanded customer service assistance, specifically with our volumetric discounts and our fixed bill discounts. We are making our line repair and water conservation pilot a permanent program. What that program does is it provides repairs and other water saving improvements to customers' homes on an income basis to really give them improvements, but also just see conservation as a whole across our service territory. There will be a new charge on bills, something called the Penvest charge. The reason why we're putting this in place is to provide transparency in our billing methods to show where our ratepayer dollars are going. And for this charge specifically, every dollar that we collect through this Penvest surcharge will be paid or used to pay for Penvest debt service. And if that's not the case, they'll then refund those dollars back to customers. So again, it's a separate charge, but the purpose of that is transparency for our ratepayers. And the last major item that I'll mention is starting or effective February 1st, 2027. So going into next year, we are going to remove the minimum charge from our rate structure and switch to a more volumetric-based structure where customers have more control over their ultimate bill based on consumption. There's obviously a lot of additional information. That's just a few highlights, but if anybody from the public wants to read more about either our rates or the settlement itself, you can find associated press release and also a page on our website at pgh20.com for some more information there. Next, as part of issuing new bonds, Pittsburgh Water received earlier this month a credit rating outlook upgrade from stable to positive from both Moody's and S&P Global Ratings. Factors that led to these ratings, or these improvements, I should say, are improved financial performance, our stable relationship with the PUC, and now, this is the first time that I've heard this from the rating agencies, just the delivery of major capital projects. We've obviously talked about that in these public meetings, but they're starting to take note of that along with the public and other entities, which is great to see, but it's also having a positive impact on our credit rating as a whole. And then speaking of new bonds, Pittsburgh Water is in the market this Tuesday to sell some additional debt to continue funding our capital improvement plan. I'm happy to report the following results from that transaction. Since I've been here, this was the best price transaction. We had a strong market, but we also had some strong interest from investors as a whole. To build off that, the investor demand that we saw was about $1.1 billion in orders to buy $130 million of Pittsburgh Water bonds in the public marketplace. So obviously that represents, the demand far exceeded the supply of what we were trying to go into the market with. So with that, it's very positive for us because it puts us in a better place to negotiate a lower interest rate overall for the authority. And then speaking of that, we did take advantage of that opportunity and made the strategic decision to upsize how many bonds or how much in bonds we sold in the market on Tuesday. As I mentioned, the initial pricing we were going in for was $130 million of new money. We increased that to about $156 million of new money, again, to take advantage of that strong market overall, comparatively with what we've seen in prior issuances. This was the first bond transaction without insurance that I've been a part of, and looking back through historical documents, I think this may have been the first one ever. And that really speaks again to that positive credit rating from both the rating agencies, but also just market perception on really trusting us as an entity to, trust that we're going to repay what we borrow. To go without that insurance, really signifying to us that, we're a strong entity financially and that they trust that what we borrow is responsible and, it fits into our overall budgeting plans. Last, switching a little bit from that, I will note that there's now a budget and brief summary on our website. The purpose of this budget and brief summary is to provide a condensed executive summary for both our 2026 and capital and operating budgets. The summary has been in the works now for a number of months, really starting midway through last year, in an effort to really build transparency around, again, what we're budgeting for, but also what we're spending. So I would encourage everyone listening to check out the new budget and brief. Again, it's on our finance page of our website, along with our online budget book as a whole, so the larger document. And then we also have an online budget book where you can click through different departments and other initiatives that within our budgets to make it a little bit more user-friendly from that perspective. And the last thing I'll note on that is these budget and brief documents, while this is the first year that you're seeing it, we'll continue to publish those annually as new budgets are approved by this board. With that, a little bit longer than usual, but I wanted to give some good updates there. But that concludes my overall report today. I'll turn it back over for any questions. Thank you.
Any questions, comments for Ed? I would just say that that was certainly a robust report, and lots of good news for Pittsburgh Water and the ratepayers. And I also want to acknowledge your transparency and putting the budget and brief up on the website and making sure that everybody knows how we're using our resources. So thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add to that, thanks, and acknowledge that, Ed, what you're describing and reporting to us today is really reflective of what I believe the board's intention is. We appreciate that work, both in presenting the budget, but also these individual steps that that bode well for the community and for the ratepayers of Pittsburgh Water.
Thank you, Peg. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Ed. Engineering report, Rachel Beam.
Good morning, Chair Leber and members of the board. I do have some slides this morning. If you could start those, please. Thank you. I'd like to start today by highlighting a project called the Stewart Avenue Stormwater Improvements Project. I'm going to bring up some visuals for that. This stormwater project was initiated due to unmanaged stormwater runoff in the Stewart Avenue watershed within the Carrick neighborhood, which contributes to some downstream flooding along Sawmill Run Boulevard. You can advance to the next slide. Thank you. Oh, I got the clicker this time. Awesome. Okay, very good. Thanks. So this is in the Carrick neighborhood, and this unmanaged stormwater runoff contributes to downstream flooding along Sawmill Run Boulevard, flooding of private properties within the watershed, and roadway damage. And you can see the black outlined area towards the bottom of the slide is the area of runoff that we're looking to manage. Additionally, with this project, we did recognize that the Sawmill Run Stream Corridor, which is listed as a priority watershed in our stormwater strategic plan, is overwhelmed during relatively small rain events. So to address these issues, we're implementing the Stewart Avenue Stormwater Improvements Project. This is in partnership with the city of Pittsburgh, and shown here is an outline of the project area, a zoomed in map. The project will consist of constructing a new system of approximately 3,900 linear feet of storm sewer ranging in size from 8 to 30 inches, 33 manholes, 47 storm inlets in the public rights of way of various streets in the vicinity. The project also includes a green infrastructure stormwater management system on adjacent private property, which you can see in that triangle shaped bump out, consisting of subsurface stormwater detention beneath a detention pond, associated roadway reconstruction with the project throughout those limits. All the storm sewer pipes are designed to have adequate capacity to safely convey the 10-year future climate storm. And just showing an example, this is not obviously from the project, has not started yet, but this is just an example to give you an idea of what the subsurface detention units look like. These are called R tanks, commonly used for subsurface detention. Those will be used below the subsurface detention pond. The cost share amount with the city does vary by the nature of the work, but generally Pittsburgh Water will pay for 100% of the green infrastructure. The city will be paying 100% of certain roadway related items, and the remaining items, including but not limited to the stormwater system itself, will be split mostly 50-50, with the city paying more for certain pavement items. Based on our current cost estimate, the overall cost share for this project is anticipated to be approximately 59% Pittsburgh Water and 41% city. A board resolution for that cost share agreement with the city and a construction award recommendation will be presented to the board later this spring. So again, the goals of the project are to reduce overland flooding and backyard flooding, implement stormwater best management practices to reduce peak flows and achieve downstream flood reduction benefits, as well as generating municipal separate storm sewer system water quality pollution reduction credits, and to construct the proposed infrastructure, both the traditional gray system as well as the green stormwater BMPs. Construction is anticipated to start in the summer of 2026 and end at the beginning of 2028. Moving on, I'll provide an update on our surface restoration program. These contracts include the restoration of streets, sidewalks, and other property as required due to work performed by our Water and Sewer Operations Department, where work is primarily on our water system. That work includes, but is not limited to, mains, valves, service connections, and hydrants. This is an annual program which has had 2 contracts per year since 2021, and funding comes from our operating budget. As we move into this year's paving season, there are 863 sites in the planned status. We anticipate starting the season on approximately March 27th. Between now and then, we do anticipate additional sites to be added for a total of 1,010 sites to be paved at the start of this season, and sites will also be added throughout the year. So this year, we plan to address approximately 1,305 sites during this year's paving system from the end of March to the end of October, and that will leave a backlog of approximately 356 sites at the end of this year. Later in today's meeting, I'll be presenting a board resolution recommending the award of this year's surface restoration contracts, which will represent the largest funding that Pittsburgh Water has committed to this program to date. And I also just wanted to show some highlights from last year's accomplishments in this program. This was prepared by Hatch, who is our construction management firm for these contracts. So as you can see, we did 881 sites, which resulted in a cumulative amount of 8 miles of road paved, 1 1/3 miles of sidewalks. We also had some cost share efforts with People's Natural Gas shown in the upper right corner, $153,000. In the lower right corner, we did coordinate 33 sites with our other projects. You can also see some of the other statistics. And then overall, the average cost per site was about $14,000. So moving on, I'd like to review our urgent water contracts. This is specifically relative to a resolution that I'll be presenting during the meeting later this morning. So our urgent water and urgent sewer repair contracts are specifically designed to provide rapid response with contractors on standby to address emergency service calls within a 4-hour time frame. This approach has been essential in safeguarding uninterrupted utility services for our community, given our aging infrastructure. And here you can see a photo of urgent work that was performed in December at Reed and Center. The scope of work under this contract includes urgent repair and maintenance of our public system, including transmission, storage, and distribution. And projects are typically given to our urgent contractors due to the scope and/or complexity of the work. This is showing the same project, but at night. These breaks do not discriminate on when they happen, so we're often working at night and on weekends and holidays. As I mentioned, or I may not have mentioned, the urgent contracts are 1 year in duration, and they run from July to June. It has been a very busy contract year so far due to several current significant and costly infrastructure failures, including but not limited to a 16-inch repair at Chestnut and Progress Street, which is shown here, a 12-inch repair on East Carson at the Birmingham Bridge, another 12-inch repair on Reed and Center Ave that I showed in the previous photos, an additional work on 42-inch gate valve relocation on Berlin Way, and some other projects as well. Additionally, a significant amount of this work has occurred just in the past month from water main breaks that are likely a result of the extreme temperatures that we've experienced in our region. And this picture is also showing Chestnut and Progress Street with near final restoration. So you can see the extent to which we ended up repairing this site. That's the start of the work, and then at the end, the extent of the paving. So to ensure that we have sufficient funding for the duration of these contracts, we will be proactively proposing change orders, which are estimates developed by the project management team based on anticipated spending through the contract completion dates. And here's just a couple more photos of one other site at the Boulevard of the Allies, the work on the left, and then concrete base repair on the right. And that does conclude my slides. On the subject of board resolutions, later in the meeting, I'll also be presenting resolutions for several small diameter water main replacement contracts. I wanted to highlight the largest of these, which is the 2023 contract A2. So we name our small diameter water main replacement programs based on the year in which design starts. When the 2024 program was initiated, we broke up that program into multiple smaller contracts instead of having fewer larger contracts that we'd been issuing previously. When the size of our overall capital program was reduced going into 2025, this 2023 contract A2 was postponed due to budget constraints and partly due to the large size of it, but it is now ready for construction award. Other reasons that this particular contract is unusually large include the fact that our original intent was only to replace the 8-inch main, but now it was decided that we should address all distribution mains, and there are numerous distribution mains in the same streets. So this includes some larger 15 and 16-inch mains at the same time. There are also currently some parallel mains in 2 separate districts, and we will have to carefully phase this work in order to install the new mains. And finally, the project is in a difficult location for traffic control. There's a lot of traffic in the West End. Lastly, the following projects are currently out for construction bid. Our new headquarters at 3011 Smallman, general electrical, HVAC, and plumbing bids are due March 12th. 2025 small diameter sewer rehabilitation contracts 1 and 2 bids are due March 12th. 2026 urgent sewer bids due March 24th. 2026 urgent water bids are due March 26th. Our new operations center renovations, electrical and plumbing bids are due March 24th. And new operations center renovations, general and HVAC bids are due March 31st. We also have 1 project currently out for engineering bid, construction management and construction inspection for the 2026 urgent sewer contract. This concludes my report. Thank you for your attention, and I'll turn it over for any questions.
Any questions or comments for Rachel?
I have a comment and a question. First, as a comment, thank you, Rachel. It was really very helpful to see the stormwater project example at Stewart Avenue, and a few things I wanted to note about that. One, the way that fits into the stormwater strategic plan, which I think is great. And in particular, there's several features of that project that you just mentioned that I wanted to highlight. One is the bringing together with traditional stormwater infrastructure with the storm sewers, as well as green infrastructure, pulling those both together. The joint work with the city, which I think we all recognize is going to be essential for our stormwater implementation moving forward. And also just that you mentioned as a small point, but the fact that this is being designed for a 10-year future storm, which is part of the city's stormwater code now, but has also been adopted by Pittsburgh Water, in order to think about what flows might be for that future 10-year event and do some future proofing of our system. So just wanted to highlight that, and I really appreciate seeing all of that come together in this project. My question was on a different topic, on the small diameter water main replacement. I was curious whether we have a broader sense of sort of percentage to complete or some goals that would be set around that, given the significant capital investment that we'll be making this year.
Of course. Thank you for that question. We have been aggressively replacing water mains for quite some time, and our small diameter water main replacement program also does include replacement of lead service lines. So those are working in tandem and helping our lead service line replacement program. We are in the process currently of trying to get a better handle of what our annual goals really should be. To this point, we're sort of playing a little bit of catch up on maintaining that infrastructure, that water infrastructure. But now we're at the point where we can at least start to think a little bit more proactively. What should our annual goals be, not only for water main replacements, but also for our other programs, including sewer lining and such. So we may not be able to meet the goals every year. A lot of factors go into it, of course, budget being a big piece of it. But that is something that we're working towards, is to have better defined annual goals that we can work towards for all of our programs.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, one from me. Thanks again, Rachel, for your report. It was really great to see the surface restoration map, just to see the extent of the number of projects that need to be accomplished this year. And my question was about, I think you said there was 1,305 locations the utility plans to get to this construction season. I was curious about what fraction of those are sites that are pending projects that will be that will be needed to repair after this year's water main replacements versus the fraction that are the work has already been completed at subsurface.
So if I think I understand your question correctly, so the surface restoration program only addresses repairs that are needed as a result of our operations department doing repairs to the system that come up due to breaks or things that happen on a routine basis, and it's separate from our capital program.
Okay.
However, we do make an effort to coordinate. So last year we had about 33 sites where we coordinated this surface restoration program with our capital projects so that we weren't duplicating restoration work.
Oh, I see. That's what the 33 was within your capital.
Yes.
Okay, so the 863, those are existing sites that already need repair,
Yes.
have had temporary repair, and now will
Correct.
be more permanent repair.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Chief Operations and Environmental Compliance Officer, Frank Sideri.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So in December report that I made to you all, I had noted a number of our annual regulatory submittals that are required at the beginning of each year. So today I just wanted to confirm to the board that as of this week, essentially the end of February, we have completed the timely submittals of most of those reports. There's one outstanding, but we have completed our self-monitoring compliance reports to Elkasan. This is for discharges at our water treatment plant, our Howard Street Vector Pit, as well as our Brilliant Pump Station. Our sewer system waste load reports, which actually go into Penn Hills and Elkasan. An air quality report and certification. This is for our boilers and generators that we have for the health department. Chemical analysis, residual waste, and our waste oil reports that go into PADEP. And finally, we file a SARA Tier 2 report, it's called. It essentially establishes our chemical inventory, and it's something that we file with the PA Department of Labor and Industry. But this report's also submitted to the City of Pittsburgh Fire Bureau, so that they're aware if they're responding to an emergency, what types and quantities of chemicals we may have stored at different locations. The final kind of annual report that we have is our combined sewer overflow status report. And it's due at the end of March into DEP, and that is pending and on track to be submitted here in this next month. Looking forward a little bit into March, this is the time of year where the compliance group also begins performance of our annual review and update of several important compliance documents. These include our slug discharge plans, our integrated contingency plan, our spill prevention, control, and countermeasure plan. All of those are plans that are associated with if there is a spill or a release to Elkasan or the environment, how do we handle spill response? How do we handle notifications and things like that? We also have a waste management program as well as our environmental compliance manual that begins to get reviewed and updated here in March of this year. If you all have any questions on any of those reports or any of those SOPs and policies that we put together, please let me know. I'd be happy to discuss those in detail. Turning a little bit to our water system to wrap up my report this month, I will be presenting a little bit later a resolution to the board for the purchase of 2 of our 7 different chemicals that we use in the water treatment process. The 2 chemicals here that we're going to present today include calcium hydroxide, we refer to it as liquid lime, and sodium hypochlorite or chlorine. Liquid lime is used in the initial steps of our water treatment plant process, and it's added to the water to help adjust the pH of the water as it goes through the treatment itself. And then the chlorine is used as a disinfectant, and it's put in one of the final stages at our water treatment plant, again, to disinfect the water before we send it out and supply it to our customers. To put kind of some of the dollars with the volume of these chemicals that we use, in January of this year, so this past month, we produced an average of 71 million gallons of water per day out of the treatment plant. And that required us to use 1,693 gallons of liquid lime every day, as well as 1,043 gallons of chlorine every day to maintain that treatment on a daily basis. The expenditures that I'll be seeking approval for is estimating 380,000 gallons of lime per year and 550,000, 500,000 gallons of chlorine that are required annually to maintain our treatment process. To help us manage all these large volumes of chemicals, we also have 2 construction projects. You may have heard some of Rachel reporting on these in the past, but we're nearing completion on 2 of these. One is the liquid lime and sodium permanganate project, It actually went through review with DEP on Monday. They came out to look through, and we're anxiously awaiting their issuance of an operating permit. Once that operating permit is in hand, we'll be able to place that system into service. And the other is our pre-post sodium hypochlorite project. And it is beginning to undergo some final testing to prepare for that operating permit application. Hopefully we'll have that here this spring. Both of these projects are going to help increase and modernize our storage, make sure we have enough room to hold all this chemical that we require, as well as update some of those associated chemical feed systems. So looking forward from the operations side to getting those on hand. That's going to conclude my report today. If there's any questions from the board or consultants or staff, I always welcome those. So thank you.
Any questions or comments?
Maybe one question. Are both of the suppliers new to Pittsburgh Water, or have they been supplying you all for a while?
Yes, both of these have been supplying for quite a while, and head of herself. But the resolution will be presented is a reverse auction, which I've spoke to you before. So these are bidders that we're familiar with and that we're comfortable with receiving chemicals from. So
Thanks, Frank.
yep, you're welcome.
Will Pickering, Chief Executive Officer.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Chair Leber. Congratulations to you and our entire new slate of officers. Great to have familiar faces and a new addition to the officers as well. Team's really excited to continue to work with you all. I know I say it in this forum, but I can't say it enough that you all are volunteers who are taking time out of your various priorities to help shape the direction and oversee everything that we have going. I appreciate your remarks and talking about the scale of what we have going on. And I think Ed's updates on finance is an example of how the tone that you all set at the board shapes what our rates look like. I'm tremendously proud of what we've been able to accomplish, especially for customers within that 200% of federal poverty level and below, really limiting rate increases for them and providing them opportunities for assistance. And then on the bond side of things, in having the rating agencies see us as a trustworthy investment and credible. And that all stems from the financial management policies that you all have approved in the past. Things like maintaining our days cash on hand, the longevity of the leadership team, and just steady hand in growing this organization and delivering projects, like Ed said, which we're tremendously proud of. So I do want to, again, thank the board for their engagements on those key issues. I believe last month, Frank gave a kudos to the water operations group just because of all of the breaks and leaks that we have been investigating and repairing. That, as you can imagine, has continued throughout the month of February. I think also fitting that Rachel provided the map. All of those yellow dots are sites that Frank and his teams, not Frank individually, he's not taking credit for it, although he's out there quite a bit, where we are digging, and those result in a site that we need to come back and restore to city standards. Rachel's image of showing the extent of that to make sure that we're repairing the roadway. So just on the operational side, a huge burden for us to be able to repair the right-of-way, roads, sidewalks, and whatnot, making sure that we have the resources to be able to do that, in addition to all the planned capital work too. Many different ways we can continue to be better, but we certainly have the resources to adjust, and address them as best as we can, and we'll continue to evolve there. I do also, being mindful of our time, I just want to give a quick shout out. We're receiving recognition from the American Society of Civil Engineers Pittsburgh chapter tomorrow. The Highland Reservoir Pump Station project that is substantially complete, not yet in service, will be recognized with the Award of Merit. And our very own Frank Sideri is Government Engineer of the Year. So we're very excited to join in celebrating that, both those achievements. And then later on next month, the Engineering Society of Western Pennsylvania holds its annual banquet. And again, the Highland Reservoir Pump Station will be recognized as the wastewater conveyance project of the year. So in the water category, we're receiving that recognition as well. A tremendous project there. And I know many between Pittsburgh water staff, engineering consultants, and the like were involved in that. So a proud accomplishment. Great to see that we're being recognized, help from the public affairs team to submit these nominations that were successful this year. So just wanted to draw attention to that. But that wrapped up my remarks. Happy to answer any questions the board may have for me.
Questions, comments for Will?
Well, I had one quick question. So it occurred to me that we've learned that the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette will cease operations in May 3rd. And that is where we post our solicitations and requests for proposals. So I'm curious if we have a plan in place already about where we will post those solicitations when they cease operations.
I know we are very aware of it and are looking into it. I am not exactly sure if we have that alternative in hand. We'll say we're keeping our fingers crossed that perhaps it can sustain in some fashion that would continue to meet that requirement for us, but it is on our radar.
Great. Thanks.
If anyone wants to start a newspaper, we would appreciate it.
Thank you, Will, and congratulations, Frank, on well-deserved recognition. Okay, we'll start with the resolutions. First up is Jason Felser.
Good morning, Board. Here to present resolution number 8 of 2026, which is for approving a change order to an operating contract for hosting and supporting services on our SAP Enterprise Resource Planning System. It's to Vertex One from the operating budget in the amount of $2,917,628.62. And our recommendation is that this is approved.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Discussion? Any abstentions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion approved. Frank Sideri?
Right, this is resolution number 9, approving the award of operating contracts for water treatment plant chemicals to JCI Jones Chemicals and WK Merriman Incorporated for a base year and 4 option years. This comes out of the operating budget, total of $7,520,921.79.
We have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Any discussion?
The base year and 4 option years, so this is the per year, I'm sorry. The base year and the 4 operating years, so this is the one-time annual fee, the 7.
The 7.5 million roughly, the number is the total for all projections. So that's both chemicals for 5 years each.
Oh, okay.
So just the base year, just so you get a little bit of a flavor of this, there is some annual increasers. The base year for sodium hypochlorite to JCI Jones is $831,600, and the base year for calcium hydroxide, liquid lime, to WK Merriman is $585,000. So each of them have their own. It was through a reverse auction. They had the low bid on those. Each of those then is the base year, and then there are some escalators for 4 more years. The total is the 7.5 million.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? I think I did that in the wrong order the last time. I think I got it right this time. Okay, the resolution passes. Thanks, Frank. Ed Barca?
Resolution number 10 of 2026, approving resolutions to borrow and to be reimbursed for Penvest Award number 80309 for the 2024 and 2023A small diameter water main replacement program. I will note this is just a typical resolution that we need to close on a Penvest project. For this specific project, Penvest awarded the funding in October of last year, and we anticipate closing on this funding in April of this year. And the last thing that I'll note on this resolution is that this specific amount that this specific projects that I mentioned, there will be lead lines replaced, about 482 private and 562 public lead lines.
Do we have a motion? Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Ed,
And I would just ask that you explain to us, and I know you've done this in the past, why there are 2 resolutions regarding this one
Yep, definitely. So for each
Yes.
award that we receive from Penvest, regardless of what the project is, they have a typical process and a typical approval flow that they require. And what you're seeing in front of you today for this specific project is first the resolution to borrow. So that is just authorizing the loan amounts that they have awarded to us, to making sure that, we agree of what those amounts are and we agree to repay it. And then the second piece here is the approval of the reimbursement. And all that states is that we'll fund these projects initially out of our own funds via cash. And then once we incur those costs, we'll then submit those for reimbursement to Penvest.
Thank you. Peg, did I hear you?
No,
Oh, okay, it was Megan.
That was the question I was going to ask. So thank you.
All right, so for resolution number 10, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, number 10 passes. Just move to number 11, since I think Ed already explained to us why it's there.
Yep.
Do we
Resolution.
have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, number 11 passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Resolution number 12, approving the award of a capital contract for construction of the 2023 small diameter water main replacement contract A2 to Independent Enterprises. Capital budget $34,749,329. As I noted earlier during my report, this contract was originally designed several years ago as a relatively large contract and was postponed due to budget constraints. It is also larger than other recent and current similar contracts for multiple reasons, including but not limited to the replacement of multiple parallel larger mains, along with complex construction phasing and traffic control. This project includes the replacement of 5.7 miles of mains, 54 hydrants, 307 valves, and 598 water services.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number 12 passes.
Resolution number 13, approving the award of a professional services agreement capital for construction management and construction inspection services for the 2024 small diameter water main replacement program to Hatch Associates Consultants, Inc. Capital budget $7,550,000. As noted in the award recommendation memo provided with your board packet, there were 16 firms in attendance at the pre-bid meeting for this project. Of those 16 firms, 2 submitted proposals and 2 were diverse subconsultants. And it's likely that the remaining firms are a mix of firms that considered bidding but did not, firms that submitted subconsultant proposals but weren't selected by Hatch, and firms that submitted proposals to the bidder that wasn't selected.
We have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Any discussion?
Maybe one question for you, Rachel. This is a construction management contract in parallel with the contract to perform the repairs. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So for resolution number 12, is there a similar structure in place? And who is managing those?
Yes, so resolution 13 for Hatch, this current one, will perform those services for the work being performed under resolutions 12, 16, and 17.
Okay, all 3 of them.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstention? Number 13 passes. Resolution number 14.
Resolution 14, approving change orders of operating contracts for construction of the 2025 urgent water repair project to Independent Enterprises and A. Felino Construction, and an amendment of professional services agreement for construction management and construction inspection services to Hatch Associates Consultants. Cumulative operating budget, $2,950,000. As I noted earlier during my report, more work on these order to ensure the contracts are funded to address urgent water repairs. As shown in your board packet, Felino's diversity spend is currently 5.6% with a goal of 11.1%, including this change order. Felino has indicated that this number will remain lower than the goal until milling and permanent paving restoration are completed, which will start this spring. However, Felino does still anticipate meeting their diversity spending goal.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Rachel, I just want to thank you for bringing photos of projects, and in this case specifically the urgent repair, because I think it really puts it in context for all of us in terms of the need to be there fast and to do some pretty intricate work. So thank you.
Great, thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? All right, number 14 passes. Number 15.
Resolution 15, approving the award of operating contracts for construction of the 2026 surface restoration project to Mealy & Sons and A. Felino Construction, and a professional services agreement operations for construction management and construction inspection services to Hatch Associates Consultants. Cumulative operating budget, $29,117,777.
Do we have a motion? Second? Any discussion? I just do want to underscore something that Rachel had said earlier, is that this is the most money that we've spent in any construction season, and it's a significant investment in the system and in sort of catching up with the needs that are out there. So thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Number 15 passes.
Resolution 16, approving the award of a capital contract for construction of the 2024 small diameter water main replacement contract C to A. Felino Construction. Capital budget, $14,797,797.41. This project includes the replacement of 2.3 miles of water mains, 30 hydrants, 187 valves, and 464 water services.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right, number 16 passes.
Resolution 17, approving the award of a capital contract for construction of the 2024 small diameter water main replacement contract B to Mealy & Sons. Capital budget, $16,333,298. This project includes the replacement of 3.1 miles of mains, 36 hydrants, 168 valves, and 545 water services.
Do we have a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that anybody would like to?
I have one thing in my exuberance to gavel this, the annual meeting to order. I neglected to say that the board met in executive session before this meeting to discuss legal matters.
Thank you. And the one thing that I wanted to mention was that Danny Sircone is now the counsel for Pittsburgh Water, having served as co-counsel for a long time, along with Mark Nowak, who has retired. So you've been around for a long time, but we still say welcome, Danny. Anything else? I did not beat Erica's record. Erica's record stands. Meeting adjourned.